Hello and welcome to Whispers of Earth, where wonder meets the night, and science gently guides us through the vast mysteries of existence. Tonight, we embark on a tranquil journey toward one of the most thought-provoking and mysterious questions we face, not just as curious minds, but as human beings contemplating our place beneath the stars. It's a question that has fascinated us all. What is guiding us, and what is the true nature of our connection to the cosmos? You've likely heard about the Jurassic period, usually through movies filled with towering dinosaurs, colossal teeth, and thunderous footsteps. But the reality is far richer and more fascinating than what pop culture typically portrays. Let's take a moment, not to rush through, but to slowly immerse ourselves in the true Jurassic world, a world that is both distant and close. Imagine, as you're listening right now, the time of day where you are. Is it late with soft lights dimming the room and the air cooling? Perhaps your body is already ready to unwind. Or is it earlier in the day when the world still seems to be buzzing, but you've carved out this peaceful pause for yourself? Whether you're at home, curled up in bed, or settled into a quiet space, you've made the perfect environment for this journey. In this gentle exploration, we'll ease into a past that stretches back over 200 million years. But even though that sounds like a time so distant, let's ground ourselves in this moment and allow the landscape of the Jurassic to unfold in your mind's eye. Take a deep breath, feel the air, and with each word, step a little further into this world. The Jurassic period was not merely a backdrop for gigantic reptiles. It was a true and dynamic era in Earth's history, lasting from around 201 million years ago to about 145 million years ago. Think about how vast that time frame is. All of human history, from the rise of civilizations to the creation of our technologies, fits into just a tiny flicker of that time span. Yet this period on Earth was vast, and its story is anything but static. In the Jurassic, the Earth itself felt alive. The sun rose each morning and set each evening, much as it does now. The moon pulled at the tides with a force slightly stronger than what we experience today, because it was closer to Earth. Storms swept across vast open coastlines, and the wind played with clouds before sending rain to the ground. Rivers carved their own valleys, and forests stretched into horizons, creating a landscape so green and full of life that even today, the memory of it lingers. The Jurassic period wasn't only about dinosaurs. It was a time when life, plants, and ecosystems were evolving alongside these magnificent creatures. Oceans teemed with creatures that no longer exist, and continents were breaking apart slowly, forming the Earth we know today. Volcanic activity shaped mountains, creating both beauty and challenges, and life had to adapt to this restless planet. As you step further into this world, the first thing that strikes you is the warmth. The Jurassic Earth was a greenhouse planet, much warmer than today. There were no polar ice caps, no frozen tundras stretching to the horizon. Even the higher latitudes, places that today are ice-covered, were much more temperate, creating a climate where life could thrive across the globe. Imagine standing on the soft soil, feeling the air thick with moisture. It's heavy, warm, and humid, with a sense of vitality that fills your lungs with each breath. The atmosphere was more saturated than we're used to now, but it wasn't uncomfortable, just different. It's a feeling you can't quite compare to modern Earth, but it's rich, full of life in every inch. Around you, the forests stretch as far as the eye can see, but these aren't the oak or maple trees you're familiar with today. Instead, towering conifers, thick and sturdy, reach toward the sky. Beneath them, large clusters of cycads with their stiff, crown-like tops stand in proud clusters, adding an exotic touch to the landscape. Ferns, stretching wide and thick across the ground, cover open spaces in soft green mats. No grasses yet, but these plants dominate the landscape with their lush, full presence. It's a world where the ground seems alive with the growth of plants, and the air is filled with sounds of life. As you move closer to the underbrush, you catch a glimpse of movement. A heavy branch shifts, not because of the wind, but because something has brushed past. A long, powerful tail sways gently, its movement barely noticeable unless you're paying attention. And then, the creatures. Dinosaurs, yes, but not all of them massive. Some are small, quick, darting between the thick vegetation. Their presence fleeting but real. Insects buzz around you, some familiar, others strange. You catch sight of early mammals creeping quietly through the underbrush, their tiny bodies moving with speed and caution. Early birds, or something like them, flit among the trees, filling the air with the soft flutter of their wings. In the distance, you hear the ocean, its waves gently lapping against the shore, home to creatures unlike anything seen today. Marine reptiles, long-necked plesiosaurs and sleek ichthyosaurs, glide effortlessly through the water. They live in an ever-moving world, a dance of predator and prey, and everything in between. And yet, despite the prevalence of these massive creatures, the Jurassic world wasn't just a stage for the giants. It was a vibrant, thriving ecosystem. The plants, insects, and smaller animals all played crucial roles in maintaining the balance. Life existed not in isolation, but as part of an intricate, interconnected web. Plants grew, pollinated, decayed, and were eaten. Their energy passed to the creatures that relied on them. Every interaction, no matter how small, was part of the larger story. As you move deeper into the Jurassic, you can feel the Earth itself shifting beneath your feet. The continents, slow-moving giants, were in the midst of their great breakup. The supercontinent Pangaea, once a vast landmass stretching almost across the globe, was slowly pulling apart, creating the vast oceans and seas we recognize today. It's a world in motion, and that motion is shaping the landscapes around you. Imagine standing in the place where the ground beneath your feet is not as solid as you think. Far below, deep within the Earth's crust, magma stirs and shifts, pushing the continents apart, creating rifts that will eventually give birth to new oceans. The land feels restless, as if even the ground knows that it is a part of something much bigger, something that will take millions of years to fully complete. The Atlantic Ocean, which you know today, was just beginning to form. It wasn't yet the vast body of water that separates continents, but a narrow sea, slowly growing wider as the land shifted and opened up. Look around you, and you see the results of this great transformation. The earth is full of valleys, wide plains, and mountains that have been shaped by volcanic eruptions, their slopes glowing faintly with the heat of molten rock. Rivers carve through the land, slowly but surely, turning once solid rock into sediment. Forests are alive with the constant hum of activity, but it's a landscape in transition, always changing, always moving. The shoreline of what will one day be the Atlantic is forming, with new shallow seas appearing along its edges. These seas are rich with nutrients, perfect environments for life to flourish. But life isn't just confined to the oceans and rivers. On land, plants are spreading rapidly, adapting to the new conditions created by the shifting continents. The forests that once stood alone are now filling new spaces between breaking landmasses. New shorelines are created, new habitats emerge, and life follows, adapting, thriving, and evolving as it moves into these new areas. As the continents continue to drift, creatures that were once part of the same landmass are now separated. Populations become isolated, and over millions of years, this isolation will lead to new species. The land, water, and air has become different, but not alien. You feel connected to it, as if the landscape itself is breathing, stretching, and evolving in harmony with the creatures it sustains. The cycles of life, growth, decay, adaptation, are mirrored by the planet itself. The oceans, once a single expanse, are now splitting into smaller seas, their tides becoming more complex. The moon, which controls the rise and fall of the tides, pulls with a slightly stronger force than today, creating more dramatic waves and swells. And life responds by evolving, adapting, and thriving in this new world. As you explore deeper into the Jurassic world, another feature of this ancient Earth stands out: its warmth. The Earth during this time was like a greenhouse, enveloped in a warm embrace. There were no polar ice caps. Instead, even the high latitudes, the areas closer to the poles, were temperate, the climate more like what we now experience in the tropics or subtropical regions. The air was thick and humid, filled with the scent of rich, green vegetation. You could feel the weight of the moisture in the air as it clung to your skin, a constant reminder that this was a world unlike the one we know today. The warmth of the Earth during the Jurassic period was unlike anything modern life experiences. Without the polar ice caps, sea levels were higher than today, and vast stretches of land were covered with lush, abundant plant life. The Earth was much greener, with forests that stretched for miles in all directions, dense with towering conifers and fern-rich underbrush. The plants here were not just green, they were thriving, growing faster and taller than anything seen today. As you walk through this lush environment, you notice the variety of plant life. The towering conifers are everywhere, with their thick trunks reaching upward toward the sun. Their needles create canopies that stretch high above the ground, shading the underbrush and creating layers of different plant life below. Ferns, in their many forms, spread across the ground like a lush carpet, filling every available space with their vibrant green. There are no grasses here. Grasses had yet to evolve. But these ferns and conifers create a landscape full of life, constantly growing and reaching toward the sun. The air itself feels heavier, thicker with the moisture that rises from the ground, wrapping around you like a warm blanket. The moisture in the atmosphere is a direct result of the high temperatures, which kept the planet in a constant state of warmth. Even the plants seem to thrive under these conditions. The moisture from the air feeds the plants, helping them grow tall and strong, while the warmth encourages rapid growth and development. It's not just the plants that are flourishing. This greenhouse Earth supports life at every scale. Massive herbivores, like the long-necked sauropods, move through the forests, their enormous bodies cutting paths through the underbrush. You can hear the crunch of leaves and twigs underfoot as they move slowly, grazing on the abundant plant life that surrounds them. Smaller creatures, like the agile theropods, dart between the ferns, hunting for smaller prey, or scurrying out of the way of larger dinosaurs. The whole world is alive with movement, every inch of this ancient landscape filled with creatures feeding, interacting, and living. Above, birds, still a primitive version of what we recognize today, flap between trees, their wings beating the warm air. They're not yet the majestic soaring creatures you might imagine, but they are the beginning of something that will one day dominate the skies. Flying reptiles, like the pterosaurs, glide effortlessly overhead, their wings stretched wide as they soar through the humid air. The sky is alive with movement too, and the sound of it all, rustling leaves, birds calling, insects buzzing, is a constant background noise that fills the world. In the Jurassic period, life was anything but still. The world, both on land and in the oceans, was a dynamic place, constantly in motion. The shifting continents, the warm seas, the lush forests, all these elements played a role in creating an ecosystem that was in constant flux, evolving with each passing day. Imagine standing in a lush forest, watching as a herd of giant sauropods move slowly through the underbrush, their massive bodies pushing aside trees and ferns as they feed. The sheer scale of these creatures is overwhelming. They don't rush. They are methodical, their long necks stretching high to reach the leaves at the tops of trees. As they move, their presence shakes the ground beneath you, each footstep leaving a heavy print in the soft earth. But they are not alone. Among the trees, smaller dinosaurs dart through the foliage, quick and nimble. These creatures are much less imposing than the towering giants, but they are just as much a part of the ecosystem. Some are herbivores, grazing on the ferns and small plants that blanket the ground. Others are predators, their sharp eyes scanning for any sign of movement in the underbrush. They are the hunters, the quick and agile hunters who rely on their speed and stealth to survive in this wild world. Above you, the air is alive with the sound of birds, primitive versions of today's species, flapping between trees, their wings beating the warm, humid air. Their calls echo through the forest, signaling to one another, their tiny forms flitting and darting among the branches. These early birds are still learning to navigate the skies, testing the air with each flap of their wings. And they are not alone in the skies. Flying reptiles, like the pterosaurs, swoop overhead, their large wings stretching across the sky as they hunt for fish or small prey. Beneath the ground, life continues as well. Small mammals scurry through the undergrowth, their tiny bodies moving quickly between the roots of the towering trees. They are nocturnal, often hiding from the larger predators during the day, emerging only at night to forage for food. These early mammals are small, but they are resilient, adapting to the challenges of life in a world dominated by dinosaurs. The oceans, too, are alive with motion. Plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs glide effortlessly through the warm seas, their sleek bodies cutting through the water with ease. The seas are teeming with life, from the smallest plankton to the largest marine reptiles, all competing for space and food. The oceans are not just passive backdrops to the land-based drama. They are ecosystems in their own right, filled with predators and prey, each playing a role in the complex web of life that defines the Jurassic period. Everywhere you look, life is moving, growing, feeding, and interacting with its environment. The balance of this world is delicate, but it is constantly maintained by the movement of the creatures that inhabit it. Each step, each movement, each interaction is part of a larger story, one that is unfolding in real time, shaping the future of life on Earth. As you continue to journey through the Jurassic world, you begin to notice the undeniable restlessness of the planet beneath your feet. The land is not as solid and unchanging as you might expect. The Earth is constantly evolving, constantly reshaping itself. Tectonic plates are shifting beneath the surface, slowly pulling apart, creating rift valleys and volcanic activity that will one day shape the modern continents. The supercontinent Pangaea has already started to break apart, but the process is far from complete. The vast land masses that were once connected are now drifting slowly away from each other, creating new oceans and seas as they move. As you stand in this world, it's easy to imagine the slow, gradual shifts taking place under the surface. volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and the constant movement of the Earth's crust. In the distance, you see a volcano, its peak spewing ash and smoke into the sky. The ground shakes beneath your feet as the Earth's fiery core pushes molten rock to the surface. This volcanic activity is a key player in shaping the landscape of the Jurassic period. Lava flows down the slopes, carving new terrain and creating fresh land where new plants and animals can eventually thrive. The air is thick with the smell of sulfur and ash. It's a world of constant change, where the land you stand on today might be completely different tomorrow. Even the oceans are not static. As the continents pull apart, new seaways form, and the tides become more complex. The oceans are alive, constantly shifting and changing with the movement of the Earth. This volcanic activity, this constant reshaping of the Earth's surface, is both destructive and creative. It's a reminder that life on this planet is constantly adapting to its environment. When one landscape is destroyed by an eruption, new ecosystems are created in its place. Plants and animals must evolve to survive in these ever-changing conditions. In the oceans, this restlessness is reflected in the rise and fall of sea levels. The formation of new coastlines and shallow seas provides new habitats for marine life, while others are flooded or destroyed by volcanic activity. Marine reptiles like plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs glide through the warm waters, adapted to life in a world of shifting coastlines and new seaways. The oceans are not the same static bodies of water we know today. They are in motion, just like the land, constantly reshaping the ecosystems that live within them. Even the skies above you are not immune to the Earth's restlessness. Storms roll in with surprising speed, their dark clouds gathering over the horizon as the air thickens with moisture. The atmosphere itself is volatile, constantly shifting with the warm, humid air that fuels these storms. Winds sweep across the land, pushing the clouds across the sky, bringing rain that nourishes the plant life and sustains the creatures that roam the earth. It's a world of change, of flux, and yet life finds a way to adapt. Even as volcanoes erupt, earthquakes shake the ground, and storms ravage the landscape. Life continues. Plants grow back in the fertile soils left behind by volcanic ash. New species evolve to fill the gaps left by those that couldn't adapt. The earth is constantly in motion, reshaping itself, but life persists, finding ways to survive, grow, and thrive in the face of constant change. As you stand in the midst of the Jurassic world, surrounded by towering trees and the buzz of life in every corner, you realize something profound. This world has no ice. Unlike today, where vast frozen tundras stretch across the poles, the Earth of the Jurassic period is one of warmth and abundance. There are no polar ice caps here, and the planet is warmer than the one we know now. Imagine a world where even the highest latitudes are free from ice. The polar regions, instead of being covered in thick glaciers, are filled with lush vegetation. The absence of ice means that the global climate is more uniform, with temperatures higher and more consistent across the globe. The land you stand on is bathed in warmth, from the equator to the poles, making it possible for forests to stretch across areas where today only snow and ice prevail. The warmth of the Earth during this time is one of its defining characteristics. The planet operates in a greenhouse state, with higher levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which traps heat and creates a stable, warm climate. This warmth influences everything. Plants grow quickly, reaching heights and sizes that would be impossible in cooler conditions. Trees stretch their limbs toward the sun, their trunks thick with age, and the air is filled with the scent of rich, green life. Without the polar ice, sea levels are higher than they are today. The oceans lap against coastlines that are much farther inland than we are used to. Shallow seas and wide shorelines dominate the landscape, providing ample space for marine life to thrive. The warm oceans are teeming with creatures, from the sleek, fast-moving ichthyosaurs to the long-necked plesiosaurs gliding through the water. These marine reptiles are adapted to the warm seas, and the waters themselves are full of nutrients, creating a perfect environment for life to flourish. The absence of ice also means that there are no harsh winters. The seasons are still present, but they are not as extreme as the ones we experience today. Winters are milder, with no ice to freeze the ground or cover the seas. While some areas still experience dryness or storms, the overall climate is more temperate, with no harsh seasonal shifts. This constant warmth provides a stable environment where life can thrive year-round, without the disruptions that come with freezing temperatures. As you walk through the Jurassic landscape, you notice the effects of this warmth. The air is thick with moisture, a heaviness that makes the world feel alive and full of energy. Plants are not just surviving, they are thriving, reaching upward and outward in a never-ending quest for sunlight. The ground is rich with life, from the ferns that carpet the forest floor to the towering conifers that dominate the skyline. The warmth fuels rapid growth, and it creates a world of abundance, where life flourishes in every corner. But this warmth, this lack of ice, also has consequences. While it creates a lush, vibrant world, it also means that the planet is more vulnerable to the changes brought on by volcanic eruptions, shifting tectonic plates, and changing sea levels. The Earth is in constant motion, and with that motion comes the potential for destruction. The land is reshaped by volcanic activity, earthquakes, and the gradual breaking apart of continents. But life, resilient as ever, adapts to these changes, evolving new ways to survive and thrive in the face of constant environmental shifts. As you immerse yourself in this vibrant, ever-changing world, something else begins to make itself known: the constant soundscape of the Jurassic Earth. This is a world not just full of life, but also full of noise. A symphony of sounds that tell the story of survival, communication, and daily life in a time long past. The sounds of the forest are the first to greet you. The air is thick with the rustling of leaves as the wind moves through the tall conifer trees, their needle-covered branches swaying gently. The soft, rhythmic rustling of the ferns on the forest floor adds another layer to the melody, creating a continuous hum of life. Every so often, the wind picks up, causing a louder rustle, the movement reverberating through the trees. But it's not just the wind you hear, it's the life of the forest that is speaking to you. Birds, primitive versions of today's species, flap through the trees, their calls filling the air. They chirp, whistle, and squawk, each sound a signal to others of their kind. While they're not the majestic, soaring creatures we imagine today, these early birds are nonetheless adapting to their environment, learning to communicate and navigate through the air. Their calls may not be as sophisticated as those of modern birds, but they are vital to their survival. In the dense underbrush, the hum of insects is constant. They buzz, click, and flutter, their wings vibrating the air in a seemingly endless drone. Some of these insects are familiar in form, like dragonflies darting through the air, while others, strange and unfamiliar, add an exotic touch to the soundscape. The air is thick with the vibrations of their wings, a constant presence that fills every corner of the Jurassic world. The mammals, small as they are, also contribute to the symphony. Tiny creatures, no bigger than a mouse, scurry through the underbrush, their movements quick and nervous. Their tiny feet make little sounds as they dart between ferns and beneath the shadows of the larger plants. Occasionally, you hear the soft squeak of a mammal as it calls out to a mate or warns of danger. These small, nocturnal creatures are hidden in the shadow of the giant dinosaurs, but their presence is no less important. They are part of the intricate web of life, contributing to the balance of the ecosystem. Above, the flying reptiles, pterosaurs, cut through the sky, their wings beating the air as they glide effortlessly. Their calls echo across the landscape, high-pitched and sharp, as they navigate the skies in search of prey. These reptiles are the true masters of the air in the Jurassic world, their wingspans allowing them to soar for long distances, scanning the ground below for any signs of movement. But it's not just the smaller creatures that make their presence known. The massive dinosaurs, the giants of this world, also contribute to the sounds of the Jurassic. The ground shakes with the heavy footsteps of the sauropods, their enormous bodies moving through the forest with slow, deliberate steps. Each footfall leaves an imprint in the soft earth, a reminder of the sheer size and power of these creatures. Their deep, resonant calls carry across the landscape, their low rumbles vibrating the air and the ground beneath you. The predators, like the allosaurs, add their voices to the symphony. Their growls and roars echo across the plains as they stalk their prey, their calls filled with menace and power. The sound of a predator on the hunt is a primal, powerful force, a reminder of the constant struggle for survival in this world. And yet, even in their power, they are part of the greater rhythm of life, predators and prey, living side by side, each contributing to the balance of the ecosystem. In the Jurassic world, survival is not a passive experience. It is a constant, ever-present struggle. Every creature, whether large or small, has to fight, adapt, and evolve in order to thrive. The entire landscape, from the tallest trees to the smallest insects, is shaped by this ongoing battle for existence. As you observe the giants of the Jurassic, like the colossal sauropods and the powerful theropods, you realize that their very size and presence are products of this struggle. The sauropods, with their long necks and massive bodies, move through the dense forests in search of food. Their enormous frames consume vast amounts of vegetation, and the very act of feeding shapes the landscape. Trees are bent and broken, and large swaths of ferns are eaten away as they move through the world, making room for new growth. But this massive size comes with its own set of challenges. A creature as large as a sauropod is not invulnerable. Even though its size protects it from many predators, it must still be vigilant. A young sauropod, for instance, is far more vulnerable than an adult, and predators are quick to take advantage of an opportunity. Allosaurs, the swift and powerful hunters of the Jurassic, watch these giants carefully. Their sharp eyes and quick movements allow them to strike when the moment is right. A herd of sauropods, though mighty, cannot afford to let their guard down, especially with younger members that are not yet as formidable. The allosaurs themselves are a testament to the delicate balance of predator and prey. They are built for speed and agility, with powerful jaws designed for tearing into flesh. They are not the largest of the predators, but their hunting tactics are sharp and precise. They don't just rely on brute force. They use strategy, stalking their prey and waiting for the right moment to strike. Their sharp teeth are designed to slice through meat, and they're agile enough to dodge the defensive swings of a stegosaur's spiked tail or the crushing stomp of a sauropod's massive legs. In the dense forests and open plains of the Jurassic, you witness the delicate dance between predator and prey. A lone allosaur moves stealthily through the trees, its eyes focused on a small herd of ornithopods grazing nearby. The herbivores, unaware of the predator's presence, continue to feed on the ferns and shrubs. But the allosaur is patient. It knows that a swift, coordinated attack is the key to a successful hunt. Suddenly, it bursts from its cover, charging toward the herd. The ornithopods scatter in a flash of movement, each one trying to outrun the predator. In that moment, survival hinges on speed, instinct, and the ability to evade capture. The fastest ornithopod will escape, but others will falter, becoming prey for the allosaur. The predator's jaws snap shut, and in the blink of an eye, the balance of the ecosystem shifts. The hunter has succeeded, but the cycle of life continues. The herbivores that survive will replenish their numbers, while the predators will continue to hunt, ensuring that the balance of life remains intact. This constant struggle for survival is not limited to the large creatures of the Jurassic. Even the smallest animals are caught in the web of competition and danger. Insects, for instance, are essential players in this ecosystem. They pollinate plants, break down organic matter, and provide food for a wide range of animals. But they too are vulnerable. Birds, small reptiles, and mammals hunt them relentlessly, trying to exploit any opportunity for an easy meal. Even the smallest creatures have to be constantly alert, moving quickly and seeking cover to avoid being eaten. As you walk through this living world, you realize that every moment is a struggle, a battle for resources, safety, and survival. The delicate balance of the Jurassic ecosystem is constantly shifting as animals adapt to the ever-changing environment. Life here is not simple or easy. It is a world full of challenges, but it is also a world of resilience, where creatures constantly adapt to the forces around them in order to survive. As you stand amidst the vibrancy of the Jurassic world, you can feel the undeniable presence of volcanic activity shaping the land beneath your feet. Volcanoes are not rare occurrences here. They are frequent, and their eruptions have a profound impact on both the landscape and the life that inhabits it. The Earth's restless nature, with its shifting tectonic plates and molten core, means that volcanic eruptions are an almost constant force in this world. Imagine standing at the edge of a volcano, watching as molten lava spills down the mountainside, glowing orange and red in the fading light. The ground shakes beneath you as the eruption sends plumes of ash into the sky, darkening the daylight with a thick cloud of smoke and ash. This volcanic activity is both destructive and creative. On one hand, it can devastate entire ecosystems, wiping out plant life, flooding the land with lava, and causing massive loss of life. But on the other hand, it creates new habitats, rich with minerals and nutrients, where new life can take root and thrive. The land you stand on is constantly being reshaped by these volcanic forces. New mountains rise, valleys are carved out, and coastlines shift as lava flows harden into solid rock. The eruptions scatter ash across the landscape, covering everything in a blanket of gray. But as the ash settles and the lava cools, a new kind of life begins to emerge. The soil becomes rich in minerals, creating a fertile ground for plants to grow. Ferns and conifers, the dominant plants of this time, begin to spread across the landscape, taking root in the nutrient-rich soil left behind by the volcanic eruption. This cycle of destruction and renewal is not limited to the land. In the oceans, volcanic activity has its own impact. The Tethys Ocean, which lies between the northern and southern land masses, is constantly affected by the shifting of tectonic plates. The seafloor is not static. Volcanic eruptions create new underwater mountains, shaping the ocean currents and creating new ecosystems for marine life to thrive. Coral reefs, which are already beginning to form during the Jurassic, are shaped by the volcanic activity beneath the waves. These reefs provide shelter and food for marine creatures, creating a complex, vibrant world beneath the surface of the ocean. The warm seas of the Jurassic are teeming with life. Marine reptiles like plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs glide through the waters. their sleek bodies adapted to life in the ocean. Fish swim in schools, their scales glistening in the sunlight that filters through the clear water. Ammonites, with their spiral shells, drift through the currents, their presence a constant reminder of the diverse marine life that fills the oceans. The volcanic activity that shapes the land also impacts the oceans, creating new habitats for life to thrive. But volcanic activity also brings challenges. The constant eruptions can disrupt ecosystems, causing temporary cooling and darkness as ash clouds block out the sun. The sudden shifts in climate, caused by the release of gases into the atmosphere, can lead to changes in weather patterns, affecting both plant and animal life. Plants that rely on sunlight for photosynthesis may struggle to grow in the wake of a volcanic eruption, while herbivores may find their food sources diminished. The predators that rely on these herbivores also face challenges, and the entire ecosystem feels the effects of volcanic disruptions. Yet, despite the occasional devastation, life always finds a way to adapt. After the ash settles and the land begins to heal, new species emerge, and the cycle of life continues. The volcanic activity that shapes the landscape also fuels the evolution of new life forms, encouraging adaptation and resilience. It is a reminder that life on Earth is in a constant state of flux, and that even in the face of destruction, there is always the possibility of renewal. As you continue your journey through the Jurassic period, you can't help but be drawn to the oceans that stretch out before you. The seas of the Jurassic are alive with activity, and they are as crucial to the Earth's ecosystem as the land itself. These vast bodies of water, still forming and changing as the continents drift apart, are teeming with life, some familiar and others unlike anything we see today. The Tethys Ocean, which stretches between the northern and southern landmasses of the Jurassic world, is one of the most biologically rich areas of the Earth during this time. It's a shallow sea, warm and full of nutrients, creating an ideal environment for marine life to thrive. Coral reefs, some of the first of their kind, begin to form in the shallow waters, creating intricate ecosystems that support a variety of life forms. These reefs are more than just beautiful underwater landscapes. They are bustling hubs of activity, providing shelter, food, and protection for countless species of fish, invertebrates, and marine reptiles. The coral reefs are teeming with life. Schools of fish swim in synchronized patterns, their scales flashing in the sunlight that filters down through the clear water. Smaller marine reptiles, like the fast-moving ichthyosaurs, dart through the water in pursuit of prey. Their streamlined bodies are built for speed, and they glide effortlessly through the waves, chasing after schools of fish or smaller marine creatures. They are the hunters of the Jurassic seas, their sleek forms cutting through the water with precision and grace. Alongside the ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, marine reptiles with long necks and paddle-like flippers, glide through the water. These creatures are not as fast as the ichthyosaurs, but their ability to maneuver gracefully in the water makes them formidable predators. Their long necks allow them to reach into schools of fish, snapping up prey with lightning-fast strikes. The plesiosaurs are like the ambush predators of the ocean, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the deeper, darker parts of the ocean, other creatures lurk. Ammonites, with their coiled spiral shells, drift with the currents. These small, shelled creatures are an important part of the food web, their abundance providing a steady source of food for larger marine predators. Their shells, often beautifully patterned, are not only a defense mechanism but also serve as a buoyancy aid, allowing them to navigate the waters with ease. But not all of the creatures in the Jurassic oceans are peaceful. The marine ecosystems are full of competition, and larger predators like the pliosaurs, enormous marine reptiles, rule the seas. These apex predators are the giants of the ocean, with jaws filled with massive, sharp teeth capable of crushing bone. They hunt with brutal efficiency, stalking through the water in search of prey. Their enormous size and strength make them the top predators in this watery world, and they prey on anything smaller than themselves, including fish, squid, and even other marine reptiles. Despite the constant threat of predation, the oceans of the Jurassic remain teeming with life. The constant movement of ocean currents, combined with the volcanic activity that is shaping the seafloor, creates an ever-changing environment. New habitats are formed, and life continually adapts to these shifts. The oceans are never static. They are dynamic, full of life and death, and constantly evolving. As you continue to immerse yourself in this ancient world, you begin to feel the tremendous influence the shifting continents have on life during the Jurassic period. The Earth is constantly evolving, not just in the oceans, but on the land as well. The breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea has already begun, and the land masses are slowly drifting apart, reshaping ecosystems, creating new coastlines, and forming entirely new habitats. Imagine standing on a wide open plain, the horizon stretching out before you. In the distance, you can see the edges of a newly formed rift valley, the land cracked open like an earth-shattering wound, allowing molten lava to rise from beneath the surface. Volcanic activity is frequent here, and with each eruption, new landscapes are born. Mountains rise, valleys form, and the coastline changes, altering the entire environment around you. It's a time of both destruction and creation, and every shift in the Earth's crust has profound consequences on the plants and animals that inhabit it. As the continents drift apart, previously connected populations of species are suddenly separated, isolated from one another. These groups of animals will begin to evolve in different directions, eventually giving rise to distinct species. This separation is one of the driving forces behind the incredible diversity of life in the Jurassic. What was once a unified world is now becoming fragmented, with different ecosystems emerging in response to new climates, new coastlines, and shifting environments. The land is not just reshaping itself physically, it is also undergoing a process of ecological transformation. The opening of new seas and the breaking apart part of the land masses create new corridors for species to migrate, and at the same time, new barriers arise that isolate populations. The spread of plants, animals, and insects to different regions is influenced by these geographical changes, and life must adapt to the new conditions. Some species find themselves in a race to colonize new territories, while others are left behind, forced to adapt or face extinction. The plants of the Jurassic, for example, are spreading rapidly across the landscape. Conifers, cycads, and ferns fill every available space, taking advantage of the warm, humid climate that sustains them. These plants will become the foundation of the food chain, supporting the vast herbivore populations that will, in turn, support the carnivores. But not all species are lucky enough to find new habitats or adapt quickly enough to the changes. The competition for resources is fierce, and those that cannot adapt to the shifting environments face the threat of extinction. However, those that survive these challenges are the ones that will leave their mark on the planet for millions of years to come. As the land continues to change, so too do the animals that inhabit it. The herbivores, like the long-necked sauropods and the armored stegosaurs, are adapting to new environments. Their bodies are shaped by the land they roam, and they have evolved specialized features. Long necks for reaching high foliage, thick hides for protection, and powerful tails for defense. These creatures move through the forests and plains, grazing on the abundant plant life that surrounds them. The predators of the Jurassic, like the fearsome allosaurs, have also adapted to the changing world. These swift, agile hunters have learned to stalk their prey in the dense forests and open plains. They are constantly evolving new hunting strategies, using their speed and sharp teeth to bring down even the largest of prey. The landscape is ever-changing, and with each new shift in the continents, new species rise and fall. The Jurassic is a time of incredible diversity and evolution, a time when life is constantly adapting to the shifting conditions of the Earth. As you continue your exploration of the Jurassic, you can't help but marvel at the abundance and variety of plant life that defines the landscapes of this ancient world. The world is green, vibrant, and constantly growing, fueled by the warmth of the earth and the moisture-filled atmosphere that wraps everything in its thick embrace. The plants of the Jurassic are not only abundant, they are the very foundation of life, supporting everything from the giant dinosaurs to the smallest insects. The conifer trees that dominate the forests tower high above the ground, their thick trunks reaching toward the sky. These trees are the giants of the Jurassic world, with their needle-like leaves providing shelter and food for countless creatures. Beneath them, the smaller plants, cycads, ferns, and horsetails, form a dense carpet of greenery that covers much of the ground. The absence of grasses means that the terrain looks different from the prairies and meadows we are familiar with today. The ground is thick with ferns, their fronds unfurling in the warm, humid air. The variety of plant life is staggering. In the warmer regions, the ground is covered with ferns of all sizes, from small, delicate varieties to massive trees that reach toward the sky. The large ferns form thick mats across the forest floor, creating a lush undergrowth that provides cover and food for many of the smaller creatures. Ferns are not just decorative elements in the landscape. They are essential to the ecosystem, providing shelter and food for herbivores, as well as helping to regulate the local climate by releasing moisture into the atmosphere. The cycads, with their stiff, palm-like fronds, are scattered throughout the forest, their tall stems creating distinctive clusters of greenery. These plants are unlike anything we see today, and their thick, crown-like leaves are a vital part of the food web. Dinosaurs feed on them, and their hard, spiny leaves help protect them from herbivores that may try to graze on them. Despite their tough exterior, the cycads play a crucial role in the balance of the ecosystem, providing food for both large and small herbivores. And then, there are the towering conifers, the backbone of the Jurassic plant world. These trees are massive, their needle-covered branches stretching high into the sky. Their trunks are thick and strong, capable of withstanding the harsh conditions that sometimes accompany volcanic eruptions or extreme weather. These conifers provide shelter and food for many creatures, from the largest herbivores that feed on their leaves to the insects that burrow into their bark. The wood of these trees is durable and can withstand the weight of the massive creatures that roam beneath them. As the plants of the Jurassic grow and thrive, they also interact with the creatures around them in a constant dance. The massive sauropods, for instance, feed on the conifers, reaching high into the trees with their long necks to strip the leaves from the branches. They move slowly through the forests, their massive bodies leaving tracks in the soft earth as they go. These giants are part of the delicate balance of the ecosystem, feeding on the abundant plant life and, in turn, providing food for the predators that rely on them for survival. But the plants are not just passive providers. They are active participants in the ecosystem. The ferns and other ground cover plants help to stabilize the soil, preventing erosion and helping to retain moisture in the ground. The plants also contribute to the greenhouse effect, as their photosynthesis produces oxygen and absorbs carbon dioxide, contributing to the warm, humid atmosphere that sustains life in the Jurassic world. Without these plants, the balance of the ecosystem would collapse, and the great dinosaurs would have nothing to feed on. The plant life of the Jurassic is not just abundant, it is resilient. In the face of volcanic eruptions, storms, and other environmental challenges, the plants continue to thrive. After a volcanic eruption, when the ash settles and the lava cools, the first plants to return are often ferns, their spores carried by the wind to new areas. These resilient plants help to stabilize the soil, creating a foundation for the regrowth of the forest. In the same way, when a flood or drought disrupts the environment, the plants are able to adapt, growing back quickly once the conditions return to normal. This green world is full of life, and the plants are at the heart of it all. They are the steady foundation that allows the creatures of the Jurassic to survive and thrive. From the tallest trees to the smallest ferns, the plants of this time play a vital role in the ecosystem, providing food, shelter, and stability. And as the land continues to evolve, so too will the plants, adapting to the ever-changing world around them. As you walk through the dense forests and open plains of the Jurassic, it becomes impossible to ignore the majestic creatures that roam this world. Dinosaurs, some of the largest animals to ever walk the earth, dominate the landscape, their massive bodies moving with a grace that belies their size. They are the rulers of this ancient world, their presence shaping the environment around them in ways that no other creatures can. The sauropods, with their long necks and towering forms, are the giants of the Jurassic. Imagine standing on the edge of a forest and watching as a herd of these colossal creatures move slowly through the trees. Their necks stretch high into the canopy, reaching for the leaves at the top of the tallest conifers. The sheer size of these creatures is overwhelming, their bodies spanning lengths of over 80 feet in some species. These long-necked giants move in groups, their enormous forms cutting through the forest with slow, deliberate steps. As they feed, the ground shakes with the weight of their massive feet, and the leaves and branches bend beneath the pressure of their enormous jaws. But despite their massive size, sauropods are not mindless giants. They are adapted to their environment in ways that are both sophisticated and functional. Their long necks allow them to reach high into the trees, accessing food that other herbivores cannot reach. Their tails, just as long as their necks, help them balance their massive bodies as they move. And their powerful legs are capable of supporting the immense weight of their bodies, allowing them to travel long distances in search of food and water. Alongside the sauropods, the stegosaurs roam the landscape, their armored bodies providing a stark contrast to the long, graceful necks of the sauropods. With their bony plates running down their backs and their spiked tails held high, the stegosaurs are built for defense. Their bodies are covered in thick armor that helps protect them from the predators that roam the Jurassic world. The spikes on their tails, known as the thagomizer, are formidable weapons, capable of delivering deadly blows to any predator that dares to approach too closely. These herbivores are not defenseless in the face of the predators that stalk the forests and plains. They are equipped with natural armor and weapons that make them formidable opponents. And while they are slow-moving and not built for speed, they are resilient, capable of surviving in a world where the threat of predators is ever present. The theropods, in contrast, are the swift and deadly predators of the Jurassic. With their sharp teeth, powerful jaws, and agile bodies, they are built for hunting. These carnivores move quickly through the forest, stalking their prey with a deadly precision. Allosaurs, the most famous of the Jurassic predators, are built for speed and strength. Their long legs and powerful muscles allow them to chase down herbivores, while their sharp teeth tear through flesh with ease. These predators are relentless in their pursuit of food, and they are not easily deterred. The allosaurs, with their long, muscular bodies and powerful jaws, are not the only predators in the Jurassic world. Smaller theropods, like the velociraptors, hunt in packs, using their speed and intelligence to bring down prey much larger than themselves. Their sharp claws and teeth make them efficient hunters, and their social behavior allows them to coordinate their attacks, making them even more deadly. The predatory dinosaurs are not just opportunistic hunters, they are finely tuned killing machines, each species adapting to its environment and prey. The Jurassic period is a world where survival is not just about size, but also about speed, strategy, and the ability to adapt. The carnivores and herbivores, the predators and prey, are locked in an intricate dance of life and death, each playing a vital role in the ecosystem. As you gaze up into the skies of the Jurassic world, you can't help but be drawn to the creatures soaring above. These skies are not silent. Rather, they are alive with the calls and movements of flying reptiles and the earliest forms of birds. The Jurassic skies are as dynamic and full of life as the land and oceans below, and in this world, flight is a new frontier being explored by creatures who are testing the boundaries of what it means to take to the air. The first group of flying creatures you notice is the pterosaurs, a group of flying reptiles that dominate the skies of the Jurassic. These creatures are not birds, but their wingspans are nothing short of awe-inspiring. Picture a pterosaur gliding gracefully through the air. Its wings, long and leathery, stretch out from its elongated fingers. Unlike birds, whose wings are made of feathers, the pterosaur's wings are formed from a membrane of skin stretched over a framework of bones. These winged reptiles are the true rulers of the Jurassic sky, their wings beating powerfully as they swoop down over the oceans, searching for fish and other marine life. Pterosaurs vary greatly in size, from smaller species with wingspans just a few feet wide to massive creatures with wingspans that stretch up to 30 feet. Some, like Pteranodon, have long, graceful wings that allow them to soar over the landscape, while others, like the larger Pterodaustro, have more specialized adaptations for life in the water, with long, toothless beaks designed for filtering small fish from the water as they glide just above the surface. These pterosaurs are not just aerial hunters, they are a vital part of the ecosystem. Their presence in the sky represents the evolution of flight, and they are crucial to maintaining the balance of the food chain. As they swoop down to catch fish or small vertebrates, they help regulate populations and ensure that no species becomes too abundant. The pterosaurs are the sky's apex hunters, their graceful movements and powerful wings making them a constant presence above the Jurassic world. In the midst of all these flying reptiles, there is also the beginning of something new, the first true birds. Archaeopteryx, the most famous early bird, flutters and glides among the trees. Though it is not yet the powerful, soaring creature we associate with modern birds, Archaeopteryx is a significant evolutionary step forward. Its wings, covered in feathers, allow it to glide through the air, and its small, lightweight body enables it to navigate between the branches with ease. Its feathers are not yet specialized for powered flight, as modern birds' wings are, but they are the first signs of an evolutionary leap that will eventually allow birds to dominate the skies. Archaeopteryx is a blend of dinosaur and bird, possessing both traits that link it to its reptilian ancestors and those that mark it as the beginning of the avian lineage. it still retains a long, bony tail, teeth in its jaws, and claws on its wings, features that distinguish it from modern birds. However, its ability to glide and its feathered wings set it apart as one of the first animals to experiment with flight in the air. These early birds, like Archaeopteryx, are small, fragile creatures that must still navigate a world dominated by much larger and more powerful flying reptiles. As you watch these early birds and pterosaurs navigate the skies, you begin to appreciate the significance of flight in the Jurassic world. For the pterosaurs, flight is a fully realized adaptation that has allowed them to become the dominant flying creatures of the time. For the birds, flight is still in its infancy, an experiment in evolution that will one day lead to the incredibly diverse and successful group we recognize today. These early experiments in flight represent a pivotal moment in Earth's evolutionary history, and the skies of the Jurassic are filled with the echoes of that change. As you move deeper into the Jurassic world, you begin to understand the intricate balance that exists between the creatures of the land, sky, and sea. Life in this world is not just about survival, it's about maintaining harmony within a delicate web of predator and prey, where every creature plays a role in the ecosystem, no matter how big or small. The great herbivores, like the massive sauropods and the plated stegosaurs, are the foundation of the food chain. These gentle giants roam the plains and forests, feeding on the abundant plant life that covers the land. Their enormous size and constant need for food mean that they must travel vast distances in search of the vegetation they need to survive. But in a world filled with predators, their size alone is not enough to guarantee safety. The sauropods, with their long necks and towering bodies, are often seen grazing on the tallest trees, their heads reaching high into the canopy to feed. They are slow-moving and peaceful creatures, but they are far from invulnerable. Despite their sheer size, the young sauropods are vulnerable to the predatory creatures that roam the land. The powerful allosaurs, with their sharp teeth and agile bodies, stalk these giant herbivores, waiting for the right moment to strike. The balance between herbivores and predators is a constant cycle. The allosaurs rely on the herbivores to survive, but they too face challenges. The defensive mechanisms of the herbivores, thick hides, armored plates, and even sharp spikes on their tails, make hunting dangerous for the predators. Allosaurs must be strategic in their hunting, working quickly to take down weaker or isolated individuals. They use speed and coordination to bring down their prey, but even they must be cautious, as a well-timed strike from a stegosaur's tail could mean injury or death. The predator-prey relationship is not just about the physical battle between large creatures. The smaller herbivores and their predators also contribute to the ecosystem's balance. Insects, tiny as they are, play a vital role in pollination and decomposition, breaking down organic matter and recycling nutrients back into the soil. These insects, though small, are part of the larger food chain, providing a crucial food source for birds, small reptiles, and mammals. Mammals, though still small in size, are emerging as important players in the ecosystem. These tiny creatures scurry through the underbrush, feeding on insects and plants, their nocturnal habits helping them avoid the larger predators. As mammals adapt to the changing world, they begin to fill niches that allow them to survive in the shadow of the giant dinosaurs. Some mammals are quick and nimble, able to dart away from predators, while others are burrowers, hiding in the ground to escape the heat of the day and the threats from above. In the oceans, the predator-prey dynamic is just as complex. Marine reptiles, such as the fast-moving ichthyosaurs and the long-necked plesiosaurs, rule the seas. These creatures hunt in the warm, nutrient-rich waters, chasing after schools of fish, squid, and smaller marine reptiles. The oceans are full of life, and the predators here are just as relentless as those on land. The ichthyosaurs use their speed to catch their prey, while the plesiosaurs rely on their agility and long necks to reach into schools of fish. The balance in the oceans, much like on land, is constantly shifting. Fish are abundant, but they must avoid the jaws of larger predators that roam the waters. Marine invertebrates, like ammonites, float through the currents, their coiled shells offering protection from predators. Yet, despite their hard shells, ammonites are not invulnerable. They are a primary food source for the marine reptiles that glide through the water in search of a meal. This delicate balance between predator and prey ensures that the ecosystems of the Jurassic remain healthy and dynamic. Without predators, herbivore populations would explode, consuming all the available vegetation and depleting the resources necessary for survival. Without herbivores, the plants would struggle to grow, as the cycle of growth, consumption, and regrowth is disrupted. Each species, no matter how large or small, plays an essential role in keeping the world in balance. As you stand in the vibrant Jurassic landscape, it's hard to ignore the role that climate and seasons play in shaping life on this planet. The climate of the Jurassic period is one of warmth, humidity, and constant change, and it is a driving force behind the evolution of the plants and animals that inhabit the Earth. This period is a time of dynamic and predictable rhythms, cycles of growth, reproduction, and survival that are influenced by the Earth's climate and the changing seasons. The warmth of the planet, free from the cold of polar ice caps, creates a climate where vegetation thrives year-round. The lush, humid atmosphere is a haven for plant life, with trees, ferns, and conifers reaching towering heights. This abundance of vegetation fuels the incredible populations of herbivores that roam the land, from the towering sauropods to the smaller, more agile, herbivorous dinosaurs. The high levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide during this time also contribute to the greenhouse effect, trapping heat in the atmosphere and keeping the planet warm enough to sustain such diverse ecosystems. Yet, even in a world of warmth, seasonal changes are still present. The lack of ice does not mean the Earth is static. and the Jurassic still experiences fluctuations in weather patterns that bring both wet and dry seasons. Some areas, particularly near the coasts, experience heavy monsoon-like rains that soak the land and nourish the plants. These rainy seasons are vital for the growth of vegetation and the reproduction of many plant species, ensuring that herbivores have a steady supply of food. The dry seasons, on the other hand, bring their own challenges. As rainfall diminishes, the landscape becomes drier and water sources become scarcer. This is a time of hardship for many species, as the lush vegetation of the rainy season begins to wither and die. Herbivores are forced to travel longer distances in search of food, and predators must adapt to follow their prey or face the possibility of hunger. During these dry spells, the Earth feels the weight of climate's influence, and the creatures of the Jurassic must endure the challenges that come with it. The seasons also bring temperature fluctuations, with summers being hotter and winters milder than what we experience today. These seasonal shifts are not extreme, but they are enough to impact life on Earth. Some species may be more suited to the heat of summer, while others find the milder conditions of the winter months more tolerable. The ability of species to adapt to these shifts in temperature and availability of food is what allows them to thrive in the ever-changing environment. For the large herbivores of the Jurassic, such as the sauropods, the changing seasons are a time of movement. They roam the forests and plains, following the availability of food and water. Their herds move in search of new grazing grounds as the seasons change, following the rhythm of the planet. For predators, like the allosaurs, the changing seasons bring new opportunities and challenges. As herbivore populations shift and migrate, predators must adapt their hunting strategies, becoming more strategic and patient in their pursuit of prey. In the oceans, the seasonal shifts also play a role. The warm seas of the Jurassic are subject to changes in ocean currents, which are influenced by the seasons and the shifting of the continents. These currents carry nutrients and heat across the oceans, helping to sustain the diverse marine ecosystems. During certain seasons, the waters are teeming with life, as fish and other marine creatures take advantage of the abundant food. At other times, the seas may quiet down, and the predators of the ocean must search harder for food. The climate of the Jurassic period creates a world that is always in flux, a world where the creatures that inhabit it must adapt to the changing seasons, the shifting landscapes, and the constant push and pull of survival. It is a time of growth and renewal, but also a time of struggle and endurance. The delicate balance of life is always in motion, and it is the climate and seasons that provide the backdrop for this great drama. As you watch the great giants of the Jurassic move through their environment, feeding on the abundant vegetation, you are reminded of the perpetual cycle of life and death that shapes this world. In a time when the Earth is constantly changing, through volcanic eruptions, shifting landscapes, and fluctuating climates, the creatures that inhabit it must adapt to the ever-present challenges of survival. But even as they struggle to live, they also play an essential role in the cycle of renewal that sustains the ecosystem. Life in the Jurassic period is not easy, and death is an inevitable part of the story. For the massive herbivores, like the sauropods and stegosaurs, survival means constantly searching for food, staying alert for predators, and enduring the harshness of the seasons. Yet, despite their size and strength, they are not invulnerable. Predators like the allosaurs wait for an opportunity, tracking the movements of their prey and striking when the moment is right. In the midst of a lush landscape, the threat of death is never far. The constant struggle between predator and prey shapes the behavior of every creature. The allosaurs, with their sharp teeth and powerful jaws, are built for hunting. They do not rely on brute strength alone, but use strategy and speed to take down their prey. They know that success is not guaranteed, and the hunt requires patience and precision. When a predator successfully brings down a herbivore, it is a moment of triumph. But it is also a moment that contributes to the balance of the ecosystem. By preying on the weak, the sick, or the young, predators ensure that only the strongest individuals survive to reproduce. This natural culling keeps herbivore populations in check, preventing overgrazing and allowing plant life to regenerate. Death is not the end of the story, however. In the Jurassic, as in the world today, death is followed by renewal. When a large creature falls, its body provides nutrients for countless other organisms. Scavengers, from smaller predators to insects, move in quickly, breaking down the carcass and recycling its nutrients back into the ecosystem. The flesh and bones are consumed by a variety of creatures, helping to fuel the next generation of life. Insects, so abundant and essential in the Jurassic world, play a key role in this process. They break down the organic matter, feeding on decaying plants and animals, and in doing so they help replenish the soil with vital nutrients. The decomposers, fungi, bacteria, and smaller organisms, take over, turning the remains into rich, fertile earth that allows plants to grow once again. The process of decomposition is not just about decay, it is an integral part of the life cycle, ensuring that nothing goes to waste. The plants, too, participate in this cycle of life and death. As herbivores feed on the abundant ferns, conifers, and cycads, they help keep the plant populations in check. The plants, in turn, regenerate, growing back quickly after being grazed. New plant life is nourished by the decaying remains of the plants and animals that came before, creating a constant cycle of growth and renewal. The trees shed their leaves, the ferns unfurl their fronds, and the cycle begins again. For the creatures that roam the earth, the rhythm of life and death is a continuous loop. Herbivores must feed to grow, reproduce, and sustain themselves, while predators must hunt to survive. Each death, whether of a predator or prey, contributes to the overall health of the ecosystem, ensuring that life can continue to thrive in an ever-changing world. In the oceans, the cycle of life plays out in much the same way. Marine reptiles like the plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs hunt the abundant fish, squid, and smaller marine reptiles. But they too are not invulnerable. Larger predators like the pliosaurs prey on the smaller marine reptiles. When a predator brings down its prey, the nutrients from the body are passed on to scavengers, and the cycle of life continues beneath the waves. The oceans themselves, shaped by volcanic activity and shifting currents, are constantly in flux. Just like on land, life in the oceans is subject to the forces of change. New habitats are formed, and old ones are destroyed, but life always finds a way to adapt. The death of one organism, whether a plant or a marine reptile, ensures that others will thrive in its place, contributing to the renewal of the ecosystem. In this world of constant change, death is not to be feared. It is part of the natural order. It ensures that life continues, that balance is maintained, and that ecosystems remain healthy and dynamic. The Jurassic period is a time of incredible diversity and evolution, but it is also a time when death and renewal are intertwined in a continuous dance that sustains the Earth's ecosystems. The Jurassic period is a time of profound change and evolution, where species are constantly adapting to the ever-shifting landscapes and climates of the Earth. Life is in a state of constant experimentation, where the forces of natural selection are pushing species to evolve in new directions. Every creature, no matter how large or small, is a product of millions of years of adaptation, shaped by the environment it inhabits. As you walk through the Jurassic world, you begin to see the incredible diversity of life that has emerged during this time. From the giant sauropods that tower above the trees to the small, nimble dinosaurs that dart through the underbrush, every species is a result of evolutionary pressures that have shaped them over countless generations. The climate, the geography, and the ecosystems are all changing, and life is evolving in response to these changes. For the herbivores, survival means adapting to a constantly shifting environment. The large sauropods, with their long necks and massive bodies, have evolved to reach high into the trees and consume vast amounts of vegetation. Their long necks allow them to access food that other herbivores cannot, and their size provides them with protection from most predators. But their size also comes with challenges, especially in terms of movement and food intake. They must travel long distances in search of enough food to sustain their massive bodies, and their grazing habits help shape the landscape around them. Smaller herbivores, like the ornithopods, have adapted in different ways. With their smaller bodies and quicker movements, they can feed on a wider variety of plants, from ferns to conifers, and they are more agile in escaping predators. Their speed and ability to move in groups offer protection, and their lighter build allows them to survive in areas where larger dinosaurs cannot reach. The predators of the Jurassic are equally adapted to their environments. The theropods, such as the allosaurs, have evolved to be fast, agile hunters with sharp teeth and claws designed for tearing into flesh. They are built for speed and power, capable of hunting large herbivores, but also quick enough to catch smaller prey. These predators have evolved to be opportunistic, always on the lookout for weaknesses in their prey. Their agility and hunting strategies ensure that they remain at the top of the food chain, able to hunt effectively in a variety of terrains. But the evolution of the predator does not stop with size and speed. The smaller carnivores, like the velociraptors, have evolved a different set of traits. Smaller bodies, sharp claws, and an ability to hunt in packs. These creatures rely on their intelligence and coordination to take down prey, often targeting the young or the weak, which makes them formidable in their own right. Their agility and social structure allow them to adapt to changing environments, and they fill a niche that larger predators cannot. In the skies, evolution is unfolding in fascinating ways. The pterosaurs, with their massive wingspans and reptilian bodies, have evolved to take advantage of the open sky. Their wings, made of skin stretched across elongated fingers, allow them to soar through the air in search of prey. These flying reptiles are not only the rulers of the skies, but are also crucial players in the ecosystem. Their flight allows them to access food sources that other predators cannot reach, and their presence in the ecosystem helps maintain balance by controlling insect populations and scavenging carcasses. Meanwhile, the birds, still in their infancy, are taking their first steps toward the skies. Archaeopteryx, the earliest known bird, is already experimenting with flight. While its wings are not yet strong enough for sustained flight, they allow it to glide from tree to tree, providing an advantage in both escaping predators and finding food. This early bird is a glimpse into the future of flight, and as evolution continues, it will give rise to the diverse and adaptable birds we know today. The plants, too, are evolving in response to the changing climate and environments. Ferns, conifers, and cycads continue to dominate the landscape, their adaptations allowing them to thrive in the warm, humid conditions. Some species of conifers are becoming more specialized, developing thicker bark and tougher needles to survive volcanic eruptions and droughts. Ferns spread rapidly, taking advantage of the abundant moisture, while cycads continue to flourish in the understory, providing food for herbivores. In the oceans, marine life is also evolving in response to the ever-changing environment. The ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, and pliosaurs have all adapted to life in the warm seas, each species evolving to fill a different ecological niche. The ichthyosaurs have become sleek, fast swimmers, their bodies built for speed and agility. The plesiosaurs, with their long necks and paddle-like limbs, are expert hunters, able to strike quickly at schools of fish and smaller marine reptiles. And the pliosaurs, with their massive jaws and powerful bodies, dominate the seas, their size and strength making them apex predators in the ocean. As you journey through the Jurassic landscape, it becomes impossible to ignore the volcanic activity that plays such a central role in shaping this ancient world. The Earth's restless core constantly churns beneath your feet, and the powerful force of volcanic eruptions is an undeniable presence in the life of the Jurassic period. Volcanoes are a symbol of the dynamic nature of this world, where creation and destruction exist side by side, and their eruptions reshape the environment in both dramatic and subtle ways. Picture yourself standing near the base of a towering volcano, watching as plumes of ash and smoke rise high into the sky. The air is thick with the smell of sulfur and the intense heat radiating from the ground. The eruption shakes the land beneath you, sending tremors through the earth. Lava begins to flow down the side of the volcano, illuminating the landscape with its orange glow. This is a world in constant motion, a place where the forces beneath the surface of the earth are actively shaping the world above. Volcanic eruptions are not just destructive forces. They are also creators of new land and habitats. As the lava cools, it forms solid rock, creating new mountains, valleys, and coastlines. The ash that spews from the volcano contains minerals and nutrients that can enrich the soil once it settles, creating fertile ground for plants to grow. In fact, many of the lush forests and abundant vegetation of the Jurassic thrive in the fertile soils left behind by volcanic activity. But volcanic eruptions also have a darker side. They can wipe out entire ecosystems, burying plants and animals beneath layers of ash and lava. The sudden eruption can cause a dramatic shift in the climate, blocking out sunlight and lowering temperatures. For creatures that rely on a stable climate, these changes can be deadly. Herbivores, struggling to find food as vegetation is destroyed, may not survive. The predators that rely on these herbivores for food also face challenges. The ecosystem is thrown into chaos, and many species are forced to adapt, migrate, or face extinction. However, even in the aftermath of volcanic destruction, life finds a way to return. The soil, rich with minerals from the volcanic ash, becomes fertile ground for new plant life. Ferns and conifers are among the first to take root, their rapid growth helping to stabilize the soil and create a foundation for other plants to follow. Insects and small creatures begin to reappear, attracted to the new plant life. As the landscape heals, larger animals, herbivores and predators alike, begin to return, finding new food sources and adapting to the changed environment. In this way, volcanic activity is both a force of destruction and creation. It shapes the land, both providing new opportunities for life and challenging the creatures that inhabit it. Over millions of years, the Earth's surface has been constantly reshaped by volcanic eruptions, creating new ecosystems and altering the course of evolution. The creatures of the Jurassic world, from the massive dinosaurs to the smallest insects, have evolved to survive in a world where change is constant, and the land is in a perpetual state of flux. The volcanic landscape is not just a backdrop to the events of the Jurassic. It is a crucial player in the story of life during this time. Every eruption, every flow of lava, and every plume of ash contributes to the ongoing process of evolution. Life thrives in the aftermath of destruction, and new species emerge to fill the niches created by volcanic activity. The balance of life on Earth is constantly shifting, and volcanic eruptions are an essential part of that ever-changing world. As you continue to explore the vast and vibrant landscapes of the Jurassic period, you can't help but wonder about the fate of this world. The creatures you see today, massive sauropods, swift theropods, and flying reptiles, seem to rule this ancient Earth with such dominance. But even in this time of unparalleled abundance and growth, the seeds of change are being sown. The world is not static, and the end of the Jurassic period is not something that will happen overnight. It will be the result of gradual shifts, forces both seen and unseen, that will change life on Earth forever. The climate, so crucial to life during the Jurassic, is beginning to change. The warm, greenhouse world of the past is slowly starting to cool. The breakup of Pangaea, while leading to new coastlines and diverse habitats, is also disrupting weather patterns. The oceans are no longer the uniform, warm bodies of water they once were. The separation of the continents creates new ocean currents, which in turn affect the global climate, leading to shifts in temperature and rainfall. The once stable world of warmth and humidity is beginning to show signs of instability. The plants, which have dominated the landscape, are starting to feel the effects of these changing conditions. Conifers, ferns, and cycads, once so widespread, begin to face challenges as new plant species start to evolve in response to the changing climate. Some areas of the Earth begin to dry, and others become colder. The lush forests of the Jurassic are slowly being replaced by new, more resilient plant life, while others struggle to adapt to the shifting conditions. But the most dramatic change comes in the form of a series of events that will ultimately lead to the end of the Jurassic period. The evolution of new life forms, the rise of new predators, and the ongoing shifts in climate. While the Jurassic period is known for its great dinosaurs and marine reptiles, the seeds of the Cretaceous are already beginning to sprout. In the skies, the early birds are beginning to evolve into creatures that will one day dominate the air. While they are still small and fragile, their wings are becoming stronger, their feathers more specialized. The age of flight is beginning, and soon birds will take to the air in ways that will change the dynamics of the ecosystem. But with the rise of birds, new competition for resource is on the horizon. These new creatures will not just coexist with the pterosaurs. They will challenge their dominance in the skies. On the ground, the dinosaurs themselves are also evolving. While the massive sauropods continue to roam the Earth, their reign is being challenged by the rise of new, more agile predators. The theropods, already swift and powerful, are evolving into new forms, with sharpened senses, faster reflexes, and a greater ability to hunt in groups. The once dominant herbivores are becoming less able to compete with the increasing sophistication of their predators. The changing environment, combined with the rise of new species, signals the gradual shift toward a new era. The Jurassic period, as lush and vibrant as it is, will eventually give way to the Cretaceous. This transition, though gradual, marks the end of one of the most iconic periods in Earth's history. While the world of the Jurassic will fade, the legacy of its creatures, their adaptations, their triumphs, and their struggles will continue to echo through the ages. As the Jurassic period comes to a close, the Earth will continue to evolve. New ecosystems will emerge. New creatures will take the place of those that have passed. And the story of life on Earth will continue its long, winding journey. The Jurassic world may be gone, but its influence will be felt for millions of years to come, laying the groundwork for the rise of new life forms, the evolution of birds and mammals, and the eventual dominance of the dinosaurs of the Cretaceous. As you reflect on the vast, intricate world of the Jurassic period, you realize that it offers us far more than just a glimpse into a time long past. The world of the dinosaurs, marine reptiles, and early birds is not just an ancient, forgotten history. It is a living testament to the power of adaptation, resilience, and the constant struggle for survival. The creatures that once roamed this earth left behind a legacy that still influences life today, providing us with invaluable lessons about the interconnectedness of all life on our planet. One of the most striking aspects of the Jurassic period is how life adapted to a constantly changing environment. The Earth itself was in flux. Continents were drifting apart. The climate was fluctuating, and volcanic activity reshaped the land. Yet, despite these challenges, life thrived. Dinosaurs grew to enormous sizes, mastering the land, while pterosaurs and marine reptiles conquered the skies and seas. The plants, too, flourished, providing the foundation for all the herbivores and, in turn, supporting the predators that relied on them for food. This adaptability is a key lesson we can take from the Jurassic period. Life on Earth is constantly changing, and the creatures of the past, from the massive sauropods to the tiny birds, showed an incredible ability to adapt to their ever-evolving surroundings. In times of environmental change, species must evolve or face extinction. This is true not only for the ancient world, but also for the world we live in today. As we face our own environmental challenges, climate change, habitat destruction, and species extinction, the lessons of the Jurassic offer hope and insight into how life can adapt, evolve, and endure. The relationships between predator and prey also offer important lessons. In the Jurassic, the balance between these groups was crucial to maintaining a healthy ecosystem. Predators, like the allosaurs, played a vital role in culling weak and sick individuals from the herbivore populations, preventing overgrazing and allowing plant life to regenerate. Herbivores, in turn, were essential in shaping the landscape and providing food for predators. This delicate balance between life and death is a fundamental aspect of any healthy ecosystem, and it reminds us of the importance of maintaining harmony within the natural world. In addition, the Jurassic world reminds us of the power of resilience. The Earth may have been constantly changing, but life always found a way to return. After volcanic eruptions, when vast swaths of land were covered in ash and lava, new plant life would eventually take root, and animal populations would slowly rebuild. In this world, survival was not guaranteed, but the resilience of life ensured that the cycle of growth, death, and renewal continued. This resilience, too, is something we can learn from as we face the challenges of our own time. Perhaps most importantly, the Jurassic period shows us the interconnectedness of all life. The survival of the dinosaurs, the plants, the insects, and even the smallest creatures depended on each other. The plants relied on insects for pollination, and the herbivores depended on plants for food. The predators relied on herbivores for sustenance, and the decomposers helped recycle nutrients back into the soil, supporting plant growth. This web of life was fragile, and the loss of one species could have far-reaching consequences for the entire ecosystem. This interconnectedness is something we must remember as we continue to impact the natural world. Every species, no matter how small, plays a role in maintaining the balance of life on Earth. The Jurassic period, though long gone, offers us a vision of the past that is both awe-inspiring and humbling. It was a time of great abundance, diversity, and complexity, and its creatures left behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. From the towering giants to the smallest flying reptiles, the Jurassic world was a place where life thrived despite constant change, and its lessons remain relevant as we navigate the challenges of the modern world. As the pages of history turn, the Jurassic period fades into the past, but its mystique endures. Even today, millions of years later, we find ourselves fascinated by the world of the dinosaurs. The Jurassic has captured the imagination of countless generations, from scientists who study its fossils to filmmakers who bring it to life on the big screen. The reason for this enduring fascination is simple. The Jurassic period represents a time of unimaginable diversity and complexity, a world unlike any other in the history of Earth. The vast size of the creatures, the lush green landscapes, and the diversity of life forms all combine to create a world that is both familiar and alien. In some ways, the Jurassic is an early mirror of life on Earth today, a reminder that life is constantly evolving, adapting, and shifting. The same forces of change, volcanic eruptions, climate shifts, and the rise and fall of species, continue to shape the planet we inhabit, albeit in different ways. And just as the Jurassic creatures had to adapt to their ever-changing world, we too must evolve to meet the challenges of our time. Yet, it is not just the grandeur of the dinosaurs that captures our imagination. It is the understanding that this world, though distant in time, shares fundamental truths with the world we live in. The life forms that once roamed the Earth were subject to the same biological principles that govern life today: survival, adaptation, and the intricate web of interdependence that connects all living things. As you reflect on this, you realize that the Jurassic period offers us more than just knowledge about a time long past. It offers us a window into the future. The lessons learned from the triumphs and challenges of the Jurassic world are relevant to our world today. Our relationship with the environment, our understanding of ecosystems, and our ability to adapt to changing conditions are all tied to the experiences of the creatures that once roamed the Earth. In the Jurassic world, the size and power of the dinosaurs were matched only by the complexity of the ecosystems in which they lived. The interactions between predator and prey, herbivore and plant, were all part of a finely balanced system that allowed life to thrive. Today, we are witnessing similar challenges as human activity continues to reshape the planet. Climate change, habitat loss, and the extinction of species are creating new pressures on ecosystems. And the question is not whether life will adapt, but how we will influence that adaptation. The Jurassic period may have ended millions of years ago, but its legacy lives on in the bones of its creatures, the fossilized plants, and the geological records that continue to teach us about our past. It is a legacy that reminds us of the fragility of life and the resilience of the Earth itself. The dinosaurs may no longer walk the Earth, but their story is far from over. It continues to shape the way we think about life, the planet, and our place in the grand tapestry of existence. And as we look toward the future, we must remember the lessons of the Jurassic, that life is both fragile and resilient, that the forces of nature are powerful and unpredictable, and that the balance of life on Earth depends on the interconnectedness of all living things. The Jurassic world may be ancient, but its mysteries and its lessons are timeless, offering guidance as we navigate the challenges of our own age. As you stand on the edge of a cliff overlooking the landscape, you may not immediately realize that beneath your feet lies a treasure trove of ancient secrets. The rocks and earth that surround you contain the preserved remnants of the Jurassic world, fossils that tell the story of life from millions of years ago. Fossils are the keys that unlock the door to understanding how the creatures of the Jurassic lived, what they ate, how they interacted, and what caused their eventual demise. The fossil record, a vast archive of preserved life forms, allows us to piece together the history of the Earth and the creatures that once roamed it. Every fossil, from the smallest insect encased in amber to the massive bones of dinosaurs, offers a glimpse into a time long past. These fossils are not just ancient relics. They are the physical evidence of the evolution of life, the fingerprints of the creatures that once shaped the planet. The discovery of fossils has been one of the most important scientific endeavors of all time. Each new fossil uncovers new information about the ancient world, offering clues about the behavior, appearance, and habitats of creatures that have long since vanished. Paleontologists, armed with specialized tools and techniques, carefully excavate these fossils from the earth, piecing together the skeletal remains of dinosaurs and other ancient creatures to reconstruct a picture of life during the Jurassic period. Some of the most famous fossils from the Jurassic world include the remains of massive sauropods, like Brachiosaurus and Apatosaurus. These fossils reveal the size and structure of these enormous creatures, showing how their long necks, massive legs, and bulky bodies allowed them to thrive in the dense forests. The fossils also give us insights into their behavior, how they moved in herds, how they fed on trees, and how their size protected them from predators. But fossils don't just tell the story of the large, iconic dinosaurs. The fossil record also includes the smaller, often overlooked creatures that played vital roles in the ecosystem. Fossils of insects, like dragonflies and beetles, show how the small creatures of the Jurassic world interacted with plants and other animals. The discovery of early mammal fossils gives us clues about the rise of mammals and how they lived alongside the dinosaurs. Fossils of early birds like Archaeopteryx reveal the beginnings of flight and the evolutionary link between dinosaurs and modern birds. In addition to the fossilized remains of animals, plant fossils also play a crucial role in understanding the Jurassic period. Fossils of ferns, conifers, and other plants provide information about the climate and environment of the time. By studying the types of plants that once thrived in the Jurassic, scientists can reconstruct the world that the dinosaurs lived in, from the dense forests to the open plains. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the fossil record is how it allows us to trace the evolutionary paths of different species. Fossils provide evidence of how animals evolved over time, adapting to changing environments and challenges. By comparing fossils from different time periods, paleontologists can track the gradual changes in species, identifying how new traits emerged and how species diverged into new forms. The fossil record also provides clues about the mass extinctions that shaped life on Earth. While the Jurassic period was a time of abundance, it was not immune to the forces of destruction that can wipe out entire ecosystems. Fossils show us the impact of climate change, volcanic activity, and other environmental factors on the creatures of the past. The fossil record is a reminder that life on Earth is constantly in flux, and that species rise and fall, adapt and evolve in response to the ever-changing planet. As we continue to study fossils, we gain a deeper understanding of the natural world, both past and present. The fossils of the Jurassic period offer a glimpse into a time long gone, but they also offer lessons that are still relevant today. They remind us of the resilience of life, the power of adaptation, and the interconnectedness of all living things. The fossil record is not just a story of the past. It is a map that guides us as we navigate the challenges of the present and future. As you journey deeper into the understanding of the Jurassic period, you begin to realize that there is still so much left to uncover. The story of the Jurassic is far from complete. Even though scientists have uncovered incredible amounts of information about the creatures that lived during this time, there are still mysteries that remain hidden beneath layers of rock, fossilized in the very earth itself. The Jurassic world may have been gone for millions of years, but its mysteries continue to captivate our curiosity, urging us to dig deeper into the past. Paleontologists are constantly discovering new fossils, and with each new find, the story of the Jurassic becomes more complete. Yet for every new discovery, there are still gaps in our knowledge, creatures and ecosystems that remain unknown, and questions that have yet to be answered. For instance, we still don't fully understand the behavior of many species. While we can study the fossils of their bones, teeth, and tracks, we can only imagine how they interacted with each other, how they communicated, or what their social structures were like. Did the giant sauropods live in massive herds? How did the smaller theropods hunt in groups? What were the relationships like between the different species that coexisted during this time? Furthermore, while much is known about the land-based creatures of the Jurassic, the mysteries of the oceans remain largely unexplored. The seas teemed with incredible life. Marine reptiles like plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs, along with fish, squid, and the ancient ancestors of modern marine life. Yet, much of this world remains hidden from us. The oceans are vast and deep, and many of the marine creatures from the Jurassic are still only partially understood. Fossils of these creatures are often difficult to find, and the deeper oceanic ecosystems from this time have left behind few traces. The full extent of marine life during the Jurassic is still an open question, waiting for new discoveries to shed light on this ancient world beneath the waves. The fossil record itself holds its own mysteries. Many of the fossils we discover are incomplete, with only fragments of bones, teeth, or shells remaining. These pieces of ancient life offer us tantalizing glimpses into the past, but they don't always provide the complete picture. For example, many of the larger dinosaur species, like the sauropods, are known from incomplete skeletons. There are still parts of their anatomy that remain a mystery. And while some fossils are well preserved, others have been destroyed or distorted over time by the forces of nature. The remnants we have are often just a fraction of what once existed, and this leaves gaps in our understanding. Another area of mystery is the extinction event that brought an end to the Jurassic period. While the transition from the Jurassic to the Cretaceous is well documented, scientists still debate the exact causes and circumstances of the end of the Jurassic. Was it the gradual climate change brought on by shifting continents? Or was it a sudden catastrophe, such as a volcanic eruption or an asteroid impact? The exact reasons for the extinction of certain species are still unclear, and we may never have a full understanding of what caused these dramatic shifts in life on Earth. Even the discovery of new fossils often brings more questions than answers. Take, for example, the recent discoveries of early feathered dinosaurs, which challenge our understanding of the evolution of flight. These new fossils have reshaped the way we think about the relationship between dinosaurs and birds, and they may ultimately provide more insight into the link between these two groups. But the discovery of such fossils also raises new questions. How did feathers evolve, and for what purpose? Were they originally used for insulation, display, or flight? As paleontologists continue to make new discoveries, they will undoubtedly uncover more answers. But each revelation will also lead to new questions, keeping the mystery of the Jurassic alive. The Jurassic period may be long gone, but its story is far from over. The search for fossils continues, and with each new discovery, we inch closer to understanding this ancient world. The creatures, plants, and ecosystems of the Jurassic may have disappeared, but they live on in the fossilized remnants of their existence. These fossils, buried deep within the earth, continue to tell their story, one that we are still learning to read. The mysteries of the Jurassic world remain an invitation to explore, to question, and to discover. As long as there are fossils to uncover and questions to ask, the world of the Jurassic will continue to captivate our imaginations, offering a glimpse into a time that once was, and still remains, in many ways, a lost world. As the Jurassic period comes to a close, we find ourselves on the precipice of another monumental transition in Earth's history. The world of the Jurassic, so rich with life, is shifting, and as the continents continue to drift and the climate begins to change, a new era is about to begin: the Cretaceous. But before the Jurassic fades entirely into the pages of the past, we must reflect on the legacy it leaves behind. It is not just the extinction of ancient species that marks this transition, but the continuing evolution of life itself. The Jurassic is the beginning of something bigger, a bridge between the past and the future, and its influence will be felt in the Cretaceous period and beyond. In many ways, the Jurassic was the foundation of the Cretaceous. As the climate continued to warm and the continents shifted even further apart, the world that followed would be one of even greater ecological complexity. But this shift is not just about environmental changes. It's about the animals and plants that were evolving, adapting, and filling new niches in the rapidly changing world. The changes that took place at the end of the Jurassic set the stage for the incredible evolutionary explosions that would occur in the Cretaceous. The great dinosaurs of the Jurassic, like the massive sauropods and the armored stegosaurs, would gradually give way to the new species of the Cretaceous. While the sauropods and large theropods still held sway in the early part of the Cretaceous, smaller, more agile dinosaurs began to dominate. The evolution of new forms of predatory dinosaurs, such as the deadly theropods like Tyrannosaurus rex, signaled a new era of predation, where speed, intelligence, and strategy would define success. At the same time, the world of flight would evolve rapidly. The birds that had their beginnings in the Jurassic period would undergo significant changes, adapting to the skies with new forms of flight. The first true flying birds would appear, and with them, an entirely new form of life that would dominate the skies for millions of years to come. Meanwhile, the oceans continued to change as well. The marine reptiles that once ruled the seas in the Jurassic, like the plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs, began to give way to new species. The Cretaceous oceans would become the domain of new marine reptiles like mosasaurs, and the seas would be teeming with life, from fish to giant squid. The rise of coral reefs, some of the most diverse ecosystems in Earth's history, would also provide new niches for marine life to thrive. Plants, too, would continue to evolve during this transition. The end of the Jurassic period marked a time when flowering plants, angiosperms, began to make their appearance. These plants, with their ability to attract pollinators, would revolutionize plant life on Earth. They would become a dominant force in the Cretaceous, providing new sources of food and creating new ecosystems for herbivores and their predators. The appearance of these plants would set the stage for the eventual dominance of flowering plants in the modern world. The transition from the Jurassic to the Cretaceous is not just about extinction and change. It is about the dynamic force of evolution itself. The creatures of the Jurassic were the products of millions of years of adaptation, and the new creatures of the Cretaceous were their descendants. The Jurassic period was a testing ground for life on Earth, a time when the forces of natural selection and environmental change led to the rise of new species and the eventual flourishing of life on Earth. But it wasn't just the dinosaurs and plants that were evolving. The mammals, still small and unassuming during the Jurassic, were also beginning to adapt. The end of the Jurassic period and the onset of the Cretaceous would see the rise of the first true mammals, small nocturnal creatures that would eventually give rise to the diverse range of mammals we know today. These early mammals would fill niches alongside the dinosaurs, leading to the eventual dominance of mammals in the post-dinosaur world. As the Cretaceous dawns, life continues to adapt and evolve, and the legacy of the Jurassic lives on. The creatures of the Jurassic were the precursors to a new era of life on Earth, where the stage was set for the rise of new giants and the explosion of life that would continue to shape the world. While the dinosaurs ruled the land during the Jurassic, another quiet revolution was taking place, one that would change the course of Earth's history forever. Mammals, small and inconspicuous, began to emerge and evolve in the shadows of the giants. Though the focus of the Jurassic period was undeniably on the massive, towering dinosaurs and their dominance of the planet, the mammals were slowly but steadily adapting to their environments, laying the groundwork for the future dominance of mammals in the post-dinosaur world. Imagine, if you will, a small, furry creature darting through the underbrush. It's not much bigger than a modern-day rat, with keen eyes and quick reflexes, constantly on the lookout for danger. This early mammal is nocturnal, using the cover of darkness to avoid the much larger, more fearsome predators of the Jurassic. These creatures are not yet the dominating force we would come to know them as in later periods, but their resilience, adaptability, and intelligence are already setting them apart from the reptiles that dominate the land. The mammals of the Jurassic are small, but they are incredibly diverse in their adaptations. Some, like the multituberculates, resemble rodents in their diet and lifestyle, feeding on plants and insects. Others are more specialized, with features that hint at the future evolution of different mammalian groups. They are warm-blooded, a key trait that allows them to maintain a consistent body temperature, even as the environment around them fluctuates with the changing seasons. This ability to regulate their body temperature gives mammals a distinct advantage over the cold-blooded reptiles, allowing them to be more active in cooler temperatures and to exploit new ecological niches. As the Jurassic progresses, these early mammals begin to diversify. Their evolutionary path leads them into a variety of environments, from dense forests to open plains, and they start to fill ecological roles that had once been dominated by reptiles. While the dinosaurs remain the apex predators, the mammals are gradually evolving the traits that will allow them to thrive in the world after the dinosaurs' extinction. The mammalian revolution, however, is still in its infancy during the Jurassic. It will be the Cretaceous period that truly sees the rise of mammals as they begin to develop more complex social behaviors and adaptations. The extinction of the dinosaurs at the end of the Cretaceous will create opportunities for mammals to spread and evolve, eventually leading to the diverse range of mammalian species that would dominate the planet in the ages to come. The success of mammals is not immediate. During the Jurassic period, the dinosaurs are simply too powerful, and the ecological niches that mammals could fill are limited. But the groundwork for their rise is being laid. The adaptability and intelligence of mammals will allow them to survive in the changing world of the Cretaceous. And as the dinosaurs begin to decline, mammals will seize their chance to flourish. As we reflect on the rise of mammals, it's easy to see how the early creatures of the Jurassic set the stage for the future. The mammals were small, but their evolutionary innovations, like fur, live births, and complex brain development, were essential in making them the dominant group in the world after the dinosaurs. Their quiet revolution would eventually change the course of life on Earth, leading to the age of mammals and eventually to the rise of humans. As you journey through the history of life on Earth, one thing becomes clear. Extinction is not the end, but often the beginning of something new. In the world of the Jurassic period, the balance of life was constantly shifting, with species evolving, thriving, and, yes, going extinct. Extinction, though it may seem like the end of a species, is actually one of the most powerful forces in the evolutionary process, paving the way for new life to emerge, adapt, and fill the empty ecological niches. The end of the Jurassic was not marked by a single cataclysmic event. Instead, it was a slow process, influenced by gradual climate shifts, volcanic activity, and the ever-changing landscape of the Earth. The world was already in a state of flux, and as the conditions shifted, some species could not keep up. Their extinction was inevitable. But in their absence, new opportunities arose for other species to thrive, and life continued its relentless push forward. One of the key factors driving extinction during the transition from the Jurassic to the Cretaceous was the changing climate. As the continents continued to drift, new ocean currents were formed, altering the distribution of heat and moisture across the planet. This led to fluctuations in temperature and rainfall, creating new challenges for plant and animal life. Some species, unable to adapt to these changing conditions, went extinct, while others evolved in response to the shifting environment. But extinction is not just a negative force in the natural world, it is a necessary one. Without extinction, there would be no room for the new species that arise to take the place of those that have disappeared. The end of one group of species allows others to rise and evolve, filling the vacant ecological roles. The dinosaurs, for example, had dominated the Earth for millions of years. But their eventual extinction cleared the way for mammals and other species to diversify and take their place as the dominant forms of life. One of the most fascinating aspects of extinction is how it can open the door to evolutionary opportunities. When a major extinction event occurs, it creates an opening in the ecological web. Species that were once limited by competition from dominant groups can now evolve and adapt to fill those empty niches. After the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs, mammals, which had been small and relatively inconspicuous, suddenly found themselves in a world without large predators. This allowed mammals to diversify and evolve into the many forms we see today, from tiny rodents to the largest mammals that have ever lived, including whales and elephants. The process of extinction is not always dramatic. Many species gradually fade away due to environmental pressures or the emergence of more competitive species. But in the case of the dinosaurs, the end of the Jurassic and the start of the Cretaceous marked the dawn of a new era, one where mammals would eventually rise to dominate the Earth. This dramatic shift in the balance of life shows how extinction, though often devastating, is a part of the natural cycle that drives evolution forward. In the oceans, too, extinction has played a pivotal role in shaping the course of life. The marine reptiles of the Jurassic, such as ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs, eventually gave way to new species like mosasaurs and the more diverse groups of marine life that would dominate the seas. The changing sea levels, climate fluctuations, and the shifting continents led to the gradual extinction of some of these ancient marine creatures. But their extinction allowed new forms of marine life to evolve, filling the void and continuing the cycles of life in the oceans. The extinction events that punctuate Earth's history are a reminder that life is constantly in a state of flux. What thrives today may not be around tomorrow, and the Earth's ecosystems will always be evolving. The extinction of species is not an indication of failure. It is a natural process that ensures life continues to adapt and diversify. As we study the patterns of extinction and evolution, we see that life on Earth is shaped not just by survival, but by the ability to adapt to change. The Jurassic period, with its towering dinosaurs, is a testament to the resilience of life, and its eventual decline set the stage for the evolution of entirely new species. The story of extinction is, in many ways, the story of life itself, a story of constant change, growth, and renewal. As you look back on the long, dynamic history of the Jurassic period, it becomes apparent that this world, despite its eventual extinction, left an indelible mark on the planet's evolutionary trajectory. The creatures that roamed the earth, the plants that flourished in the forests, and the oceans teeming with life have all shaped the course of life on Earth in ways that we are only beginning to fully understand. The Jurassic period was a time of incredible diversification and adaptation. The dinosaurs, those magnificent giants, dominated the land, while marine reptiles ruled the oceans. Pterosaurs soared across the skies, and early birds began to experiment with flight. The Earth was a world of constant change, where new species arose, and older ones slowly adapted or faded away. Life was thriving, filling every available ecological niche, from the tallest trees to the smallest insects. Yet, despite the thriving ecosystems and the dominance of dinosaurs, the world of the Jurassic period was not static. It was a world in motion, constantly evolving. As the continents drifted, the climate shifted, and life adapted to new challenges. The plants, from the towering conifers to the delicate ferns, provided the foundation of the food chain, supporting herbivores and, in turn, the predators that relied on them. The Jurassic was a time of dynamic ecosystems, where the balance between predators and prey shaped the interactions of species. This era of great abundance, however, was not meant to last forever. The Jurassic was only one chapter in the long history of life on Earth. As the planet continued to evolve, so too did the life forms inhabiting it. The end of the Jurassic period marked the beginning of new evolutionary paths, with the rise of new species that would eventually dominate the Earth. The mammals, though small and inconspicuous during the Jurassic, were already evolving in the shadows of the great dinosaurs. The end of the Jurassic and the rise of the Cretaceous would set the stage for the mammals to emerge as the dominant life forms on Earth. The end of the Jurassic period also marked a major turning point for the Earth's climate and ecosystems. The gradual shifts in temperature, the breaking apart of continents, and the ongoing volcanic activity all contributed to a changing world. These changes would eventually lead to the extinction of many Jurassic species, including some of the iconic dinosaurs. The rise of flowering plants and the emergence of new species would fill the gaps left by the extinction of the old. Yet, even as the Jurassic world faded into the past, it left behind a rich legacy that would continue to shape life on Earth for millions of years to come. The fossils of the Jurassic period provide us with a window into a time when the Earth was ruled by creatures unlike any we know today. These fossils are the physical evidence of a world that once thrived, a world of giants, flying reptiles, and the first birds. They are a testament to the power of adaptation, the resilience of life, and the interconnectedness of all living things. The Jurassic period also offers us lessons that extend beyond the world of the dinosaurs. It reminds us of the power of change, the constant flux of the Earth's ecosystems, and the need for life to adapt to its ever-shifting environment. As we face our own challenges today, climate change, loss of biodiversity, and environmental degradation, The story of the Jurassic period offers both hope and caution. Life is resilient, and adaptation is key to survival. But change is inevitable, and we must learn from the past to shape a better future for all life on Earth. As you conclude your journey through the Jurassic period, one undeniable truth remains. The world of the dinosaurs is not truly gone. Though the towering giants and the flying reptiles no longer dominate the Earth, their legacy endures in the world we live in today. The Jurassic period may have ended millions of years ago, but its impact continues to echo through time, shaping the very ecosystems and life forms that we encounter every day. In the modern world, the Jurassic continues to influence the way we think about evolution, life, and the natural world. The dinosaurs, once the undisputed rulers of the Earth, left behind a wealth of knowledge that scientists continue to study, helping us understand the origins of life, the processes of adaptation and extinction, and the resilience of the natural world. The fossil record of the Jurassic period, with its diverse range of species and ecosystems, provides us with a glimpse into a world that was both alien and familiar. In studying these ancient creatures, we uncover the connections between them and the creatures that exist today, showing how life has evolved over millions of years. The rise of birds from the dinosaurs is one of the most striking examples of the continuing influence of the Jurassic period. Birds are the modern-day descendants of theropod dinosaurs, and their ability to soar across the skies is a direct link to the flying reptiles that once ruled the air. The study of bird evolution and the connection between birds and dinosaurs has revolutionized our understanding of the processes of evolution and the survival of life. Birds are living reminders of the power of adaptation and change, carrying the legacy of the Jurassic period with them as they continue to evolve in the modern world. The Jurassic period also left behind a world that continues to inspire our imagination. From the awe-inspiring dinosaurs to the mysterious marine reptiles, the creatures of the Jurassic captured the attention of scientists, writers, and filmmakers alike. In modern popular culture, dinosaurs remain some of the most iconic creatures, appearing in movies, books, and media that continue to engage new generations. Jurassic-themed entertainment, like the iconic Jurassic Park series, serves as both a celebration and a reimagining of the world that once was, blending science and fiction to bring the dinosaurs back to life in new ways. Beyond entertainment, the lessons of the Jurassic period can be seen in our modern understanding of ecosystems, conservation, and the environment. The balance of life in the Jurassic, where herbivores and predators, plants and animals work together in delicate harmony, reminds us of the interconnectedness of all living things. The extinction of the dinosaurs and the rise of mammals after their disappearance teaches us that change is an inevitable part of life, and that new opportunities can arise even in the face of catastrophic events. In our own time, we face challenges related to biodiversity loss, climate change, and habitat destruction. The story of the Jurassic period is a powerful reminder that life is resilient, but it requires care and attention to preserve the delicate balance that sustains it. In addition to the scientific and cultural lessons, the Jurassic period also offers us a deeper understanding of time itself. The millions of years that passed between the rise and fall of the dinosaurs challenge our concept of human time. Our lives, while significant in our own way, are but a fraction of a moment in the grand history of Earth. This perspective encourages us to think long-term and recognize our place in the larger cycle of life. Just as the dinosaurs were once the dominant force on Earth and then faded into the past, humanity too will one day give way to the future of life. Our task is to leave a world that is thriving, just as the Jurassic period gave way to the diverse and flourishing ecosystems of the Cretaceous. The Jurassic period, though long gone, remains a crucial chapter in the story of life on Earth. It is a world that continues to teach us, to inspire us, and to remind us of the resilience of life in the face of change. As we look to the future, we must remember the lessons of the past: adaptation, balance, and the interconnectedness of all life. The Jurassic world was a time of greatness, but it was also a time of transition, one that paved the way for the world we live in today. And just as the Jurassic led to the Cretaceous, the world we create today will shape the future of life on Earth for generations to come.